Hello and welcome to week 3. Yay! Despite everything else that's going on in the world, we still have this, so that's great. I'd just like to welcome you to this little chappy here. This is what we're going to be having a stab at this week. If you want to, remember, you don't have to do any of these projects. If you want to do something different with the clay, then please do. But this was just taking the leaf thing through into the clay. So first time we did the leaf bowls, and then we did the green man with the leaves all over the face. So this week we've got this little fella here. So he's got leaf wings, as you can see there, and he also has a leaf tail, and on that tail, let's see if I can pick him up here, he has it leafy underneath as well. Now just at this stage you'll notice there's nothing on the bottom. You know what you need to do, don't you? Yeah, you need to put your name in there, because otherwise we might never find it again after it's fired. So please remember to put your name in there. And the other thing that you will need to do at some stage, just using the end of that, this is obviously at the end, is just to poke a little hole in there. And that's to make sure that the air can escape and that it'll fire well, because as we all know, if there's air trapped inside of there, the pressure builds up as it's in an enclosed space, and it can, as the pressure builds inside and the clay shrinks on the outside, you can have catastrophes, birdastrophes, whatever astrophes. So what I've done is, of your piece of clay that you have, I've just cut mine into 3. Let's take this lad away from here now. You can have a little rest. So of these 3 pieces of clay, I've just cut them more or less equally. This piece is going to the side for the moment. And what we're going to do now is to do something that we've done before, which is pinch pots. So what you need to do is to get it into a round ball. Okay, so if you see any, well, let me find a crease, kind of creasy bits like that, hang on, there you go. You just want to just smooth them over with your finger like that. So you have your 2 clay balls, same size, and just any little creases and stuff smoothed out. Okay, so now we're going to make our pinch pots or thumb pots. So using your thumb, that's going to be the bit that's you're going to be using that kind of movement. Yeah, so you're going to take your clay and you're going to take your thumb and you're going to aim your thumb fairly much in the middle there. It's in quite far, don't know, can you see that? And now you're going to imagine that you're taking a small spiral staircase step. It's got little steps. So what you're going to do is pinch and turn, pinch and turn, pinch and turn, pinch and turn. I know it's getting a bit repetitive, isn't it? So yeah, just, I'm going to speed up now, but you really do need to take your time. Enjoy it, because actually there's a real pleasure in just doing it nice and consistently, so that you're following the kind of shape of your thumb. Now, I can hear some of you going, my thumb isn't that shape. And that's true. But you basically want to get shape to go into a bowl shape. Okay. And by pinching it kind of in and over, you'll end up with more of a bowl shape. I'll show you in a minute what you don't want to do, but this is what you do want to do. I thought I'd show you that first. Okay, so I've got a little pinch pot. It's about 7mm thick. Okay, so there's a bit of, it's not wibbly. It's got some structure to it. Now you'll see there that the top of it is undulating, or organic if you want to use that word. And what I'm going to do is just pop it down on there. And lo and behold, it's nice and flat-ish. So do the exact same with this one. Pinch pot. Now this should take you probably about 5 minutes, something like that. I'm just ripping through it because I have a misspent childhood working with clay, and I've I've done a lot of it, so I can do it quickly. All the skills. So again, that one, and we'll just pop that down again. And what that allows us to do is it's got two areas, two pieces of clay the same size, two shapes the same shape, two flat areas on top, and then we're going to take the knife. It's a different one to last week. Andy doesn't know I have this one. He knew I had the other one, so I had to give it back. So you want to just scratch it. Like that, all over. So when I say scratch it, you're not wanting to cut it, you're wanting to score it. So it's just a really quite a light scratch on there, okay? And then the same with the other one. Okay, so you may have still from last week the little ball of clay that you opened up in the same way, where you have your pinch pot with your bit of slip that you've mixed up. So I'm going to use that now. If you don't have it, then just use the ball of clay, that whatever scraps you have left over, and just kind of force it into that kind of small ball, make a bit of a dip into it, and then use your scrubby old paintbrush, and not those nice new ones I bought you, but the scrubby old ones, and give it a good mix around with a bit of water, and it'll come to that, okay? Well, I might have bought them for you, but it's not my money, obviously. Okie dokie, slip on there, slip on there. Okay, now we're going to stick the two of them together. So just starting at one edge like that and just putting it together like that. Then what you can do is just cup it in your hands and give it it's like this. It's almost like that, a little kind of wiggle, holding it together and maneuvering it around in your hands so that you can see that what you're aiming at is just to create a good seal on there. So once you can see, then you've got this kind of slimy bit of slip, just take it off so that you're cleaning up that joint. And the next thing that you want to do is just to smooth it all the way around. It's still a little bit wet. It would have been better if I just let it dry a little bit more, or clean the joint up a bit more, but I'm going to turn it the other way around, and you'll see that that join is smoothing to a point where you wouldn't know that there was a join there. Okay, so still a little bit raggy, so all I would do is just spend a little bit of time smoothing it out, getting it as smooth as you would like it to be. Okay, so then comes the shape of the bird, because at the moment we just have a ball. But the good thing about this is, like if you've ever done papier-mâché around a balloon, is that the pressure of the air that's inside the balloon is supporting it, and it's the same with this. The air inside is supporting it. So I'm going to just take it like that, and I'm going to pat it into more of an egg shape. Okay, so there we go. And now I'm just going to rock it like that, so I get more of a rounded kind of shape on there, because that is what I want, a nice round shape there for its body. And up here, all I'm going to do is I'm holding it steady there, and I'm just pushing around here just to create that kind of head shape, just so that we have kind of a bit more of a kind of head and a body. So I'm just taking a little bit of time, just smoothing it out. Just take this off, starting to roast. Okay. And from that, I'd be thinking, okay, that's great. I can see where I'm going with that. But I'd also want to get some of the head in now. So just rotate it around, and I'm just thinking about where the nose and stuff is. So I'm just going to nose, beak, even beak. Yeah. So this looks, you can see this is really crude, isn't it? I'm just pushing and pulling the clay to create a beak on there. Now, the way of, because one of the reasons I'm doing it like this and not adding any bits on is that I'm not there with you, and just in case any of the bits fall off, this is a fail-safe way that the bits aren't going to fall off, because you're just pinching it out of the main body. So we've made the body of this a little bit thicker than we might have done in the past, and the reason for that is that it gives us more clay to kind of pinch and pull. So do make sure that you know that it's about 7-8 mil, something like that. You don't want it as thick as 10. Okay, some of you are going to be going, what's that in inches? So it would be not as big as a 1/2 inch. Oh God, 1/4 inch. Sorry, oh God, not as big as a 1/4 inch. Okay, 1/4 inch. Oh Lord, sometimes I get to this point in a video and I think I should really just start again, but I'm already so invested. I think you've just got to go with me on this, so sorry about that. I'm sure some of them are going to be better than others, but sure, we're all learning on this one, aren't we? Okay, so little birdie here, I'm going to call him Chirp, because when I was growing up we had a little budgie called Chirp. Not the most inventive name ever, I don't think. Okay, so there he is. I mean, you can make his little beak as long or as short as you want it to be, but I'm just keeping mine little shorty one there. The other thing that I like in terms of a little bit of detail is I like to just use the knife and just rotate it around. Okay, so I've gone into his cheek a little bit, so that's easy. That's a great thing about clay. So we've got a nice little beak there, and I'm also thinking, you know, those little nasal cavity things that they have at the top there. Don't know what they're called. So I'm just going to make 2 little nudgy little things in there just to kind of make them a little bit more realistic. What I could do as well is, you know, it's up to you. If I were you, well, I'll send you a link to UK garden birds so that you can have something to just base your birds on. All of these birds I'm going to do blue, cobalt blue, so that it's so that you've got something different from the green that I'll be doing on all the, oh, I don't know, maybe green. Nah, let's do it blue. Make it interesting. Give us something else. Okay, so there he is. He's got this little face here. And now I'm thinking, okay, now I didn't put these in the pictures, but where have we gone? I've got just the end of a pen, a little biro. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use that to create one eye there. And I'm going to use that one there to create the other one. And then I might look at it and go, I'd like to do something else in there. So I'm just going to put in little thing like that. And then I might think, I could do something else again. So I'm just going to do a little hole right in the middle there. So from that, but you know, you can use anything you like. You may find that you've got pen tops that have lovely shapes on them. You know, have a look around, see what you have. Or it might be that you've got some really nice buttons with the texture on, or something like that. Okay, so that other piece of clay, you want to roll that out with your rolling pin. I'm not going to do that because you saw me do that last week. So I've got 2 pieces. Amazing how I did that so quick, isn't it? So I've got 2 pieces that I rolled some leaves in here, and they are going to be the ones that go on the wings like that. Okay, not quite there, but somewhere along there. But what I also need to do is I need to put the tail feathers in first of all. So what I've done is I've rolled that in there, but what I also want to do is I want to roll one in the other side. So how I'm going to do that is so that it's not hit, or rather miss, so it's more of a hit than a miss. What I'm going to do is just cut out fairly close. I'm not going to need all of this leaf, but it gives me something to work with. Okay, so I've got that leaf, and then I've got another leaf, and I'm going to just put that one right on top like that, and then roll that in. You should see the contraption that I've put all this on to try and get it all to a height where you can see me, you can see what I'm doing, and I can actually be productive. Okay, so I've done that one on the other side. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is just see, can I trim this one down just a little bit more? And on that side, sorry you can't see a darn thing, this fella's in the way, isn't he? Good old chirp. Okay, so that's fine. Now, this is a bit that you did when you did your bowls, you did around the edges. So just using a dry finger, there's nothing on there. If you just move your finger along like that, it's quite a gentle smoothing, okay? So you can see I've done just the one side. And now I'm going to turn it the other way around, and I'm going to do the same there. And what I'm aiming for is just something that I don't have to play with anymore when it's on there, so that it's just nicely finished like that. Okay, so at this stage with this particular one, I will need to take these leaves out. So I'm just going to take it either from the tip, oh there we go, or the base. Looks like it should have been the base this time. And you will need, because I know I'm not going to need all of this leaf, so I'm okay about this sticking. Yeah, this is what happens. Okay. Just because I don't know where exactly this is going to end, I want to get all of the leaf out of this particular one. It doesn't matter quite so much on the other one, but this one is important because it'll have other bits of clay sitting on top of it. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so wait till we take our little friend back here again. So what I'm going to do is take this off. I'm naked. Oh dear. Okay, so take that off, and my plan is to have this little tail to kind of come up off the end. And if I absolutely need to, rather than it just sitting on the end like that, I could use an extra bit of clay just to literally hold it up there so it's not sitting on the ground. Because one of the things you've got to think about is when it's fired and finished, if that bit's always on the ground and you're lifting it and putting it down, it's likely to break. So it's better for it to be off the ground. So I'm just thinking about positioning and where this tail is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just making a mark on here. I'm going to turn around it and show it to you. Okay, and that's where I'm going to cut it off. So I'm going to just cut that there. Take away that top bit, don't need that, and that's going to be the tail. So I've made a little mark on there, as you can see, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what the best side is. Well, I'm just going to, sorry, you can't see. I'm a devil for not remembering that the camera, you need to see what's happening in the camera. So a bit of scratching on there, and also on here where it's going to go. So we had a nice shape there. Okay, and a bit of slip. So I'm just going to place it on there like that, and I'm just going to push it on because I know that that's joining, and I can use anything that I want, but this is a soft paintbrush, so you could use one of the ones that's in your pack, and you just want to just gently wipe that away. It gives it a nice clean line. And then using a paintbrush, what I like to do is just roll it like this. It just gives it an extra, it adheres onto it. So it's kind of like a mini rolling pin, just like that. Okay, so you can see there he is like that. If you want to, you can smooth it in, but I'm happy with it like that. And I'm also just going to lift that up, and I'm going to sit there. I think I need a bigger bit of clay, actually. Let's get a bigger bit. There we go. Nice little bit of movement there. Okay, so for the other 2 leaves that you've rolled in, whoa, I keep forgetting about that. Let me just move him to here while I do that. Okay, so in exactly the same way, just a nice smoothing around with those edges. It just finishes them nicely, and it means that you don't have to muck about with them when they're actually on the bird. By the way, I've been ever so impressed with the photographs that you've been sending me and uploading onto the Facebook page. They look really great, absolutely exciting to see them. And actually, some of you have been putting work that you've done over the last year, and it's been really lovely to see, to kind of revisit work that, you know, it just kind of slips from your mind because you haven't seen it for a while. So thank you for doing that. And please do use that space, because it is nice to have and to share what you've been doing, what you've been making, or also, you know, any videos or any things that you see that you think other people might be interested in. Okay, so now I'm going to just think about where this is going to be placed. Going to pop that one there. Going to pop that one there. I did try and get 2 leaves that would be roughly around the same size, so I'm just putting them on to see how they look and see whether I want to move them or change them. But you can see yourself, they do look really very wing-like, and the only thing that I need to kind of think about is just to make sure that the position is as whoops, it's all going underneath. It's gone a bit windy here. Okay, so I've kind of decided where they are, and I'm going to take this and I'm just going to draw on there, just on the top, on both of them. And I'm going to take off this wing, leave the other one on there, and I'm going to scratch it all the way along to about there, because I know that that's the point of contact. So scratching to there, doing the same here. And you'll notice I haven't taken those leaves out yet, and that is so that I don't end up putting pressure on the leaf. I want to leave it so that it's as clean and as sharp an image on there as possible. So I want to pop that on there. Okay, so there's the first one. And I'm just going to put it on lightly so that I get them both on in the same way. So that's the top. Just got to remember the top and bottom, left and right. So just scratching it there. And same on here. So you just got to think as well that in when this is going through glazing, that these will have just those veins standing out really beautifully. Anywhere that there's any kind of texture, detail, it'll just stand out there really, really well. Okay, so I'm just putting this one on here. Okay, and quite well, that one can move up a little bit. Haven't quite taken those scratches. Okay, so I'm going to use the paintbrush. It is just an ordinary paintbrush, so it doesn't matter if yours is thinner. And I'm just going to, well, why don't I take it up in my hand, because it's going to be a lot easier. And all I want to do is just to roller, almost like it's a rolling pin. Just roller it on like that. And the same on this side. And what I know then is that that is really well secured on there, and the rest of the leaf can be pushed down. You know, he's got, so the you know, it's a bit of a kind of flapping feel on there. I quite like that. You might not. You can push it really close to it if you want to, but the one thing I would say is you don't want to trap a seam of air under there. You want it to be without any air, so you can kind of see underneath there. You just got them kind of sitting like that. Okie dokie. So the next thing, keep moving this fella and his tail. And then the next thing is, so I have that little bowl of water and a soft paintbrush, so you can use one that's in your pack. I just don't think it's a good idea to use the nice paintbrushes for slip, because, you know, it's quite kind of gritty stuff. So all I'm going to do is I've just washed out the paintbrush, got rid of all of the slurry from it, and I'm just smoothing it. I'm going to put it down here so you can see what I'm doing. And it just takes, it gives it a lovely finish, so that it takes away the kind of bits of slurry that were there. And if you want to, you know, there might be a couple of bits. So you see here, might not see, but just underneath there, there's a few kind of creases. They're scratches that I made, but if I do some smoothing with the paintbrush, they'll just disappear. So that's the main thing. You know, if you want to do anything else to it, then absolutely do. You know, you might kind of decide that you want to do more to it, or do it differently. It's entirely up to you. I mean, I could just keep playing with it and changing things and doing whatever. The only thing I'd say is I'm not so keen on how he slumped down like that. So what I probably would do is just bring him back up like that. Make sure that that tail comes up a bit. Might bring that down a bit. And I'm just kind of sitting him down a little bit like that, so that just the stance of him, he looks a little like he's a bit more energy, rather than, see, like this fella, he's kind of slumped down a bit, hasn't he? Yeah, he's all right. Look at them, they're pals. Oh dear, I'm spending too much time in the studio on my own. Okay, so just the last thing before I leave you. We want to take these leaves out. Now, you all know it's not absolutely essential for you to take the leaves out, and if there are little bits left in, that's fine. The reason I want you to take them out is that if there are lots there, they cause a lot of smoke in my studio when I fire them. So I don't really want the neighbours calling the fire brigade. It's not a great look in the village. Right, there he is. Okay, let's take out that other fella as well, and then they can have a chat and say goodbye. Oh dear. Here we go. Ah, hang on, take them back a bit. There you go. The last thing I'll say is that if you think, oh yeah, I like them, you know, but maybe they're a bit big, you can always use your one piece of clay and make 2 smaller birds if you want to. Okay. Oh my goodness, 30 minutes. That's my best time ever. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have fun. Ask any questions on the Zoom call. Email them to me if you want to beforehand. And that'd be great. Thanks a million. Bye.